Maybe you've just broken up with your partner. Maybe you are on the verge of breaking up. Maybe you are questioning your relationship and unsure whether or not you've done the right thing, you are in the right place, you are with the right person. So today's video is going to help you find the answers, because we are going to give you 7 signs to look for to know whether or not you are in a relationship that is compatible or not for you. I am Celine Remy, the Intimacy Angel.
And I'm Kevin Anthony, the Truth Warrior. And if you've ever wondered, am I really in the right relationship? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this who I'm supposed to be with? Then make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Let's start with our step number 1. If your relationship feels difficult, that is a sign that you are not in a compatible relationship. Every time you feel like, oh, I gotta make this work, if there's so much work, trust us, that is not the right relationship. Now, we're not saying that it has to be easy and rainbows and butterfly all the times, but if the overall energy of the relationship feels like so much work and difficult, you are not in the right place.
Number 2, you have frequent ups and downs. This is another big one, where your relationship feels like it's a roller coaster. Everything's amazing today, everything's terrible tomorrow, and then it's amazing again, and then it's terrible again. That is a definite sign. Now, again, that doesn't mean you aren't going to have ups and downs. Every relationship has some ups and downs. The question is, how frequently do you have them, and how big are they?
And you kind of want to look at the balance too, right? If you were to put it like the good times and the difficult times, you really want to have it where the good times and the happy times are much higher than the struggles and the difficulties. And if you start to see that your relationship is leaning towards similar, or even the difficult times are much higher, then it's a good time to start questioning it and asking yourself questions like, is this really worth it? Ask yourself a question, be honest with yourself. If nothing changed in your relationship and you were fast forwarding down the road, 5 years down the road, could you confidently say that you are happy and fulfilled? If the answer is anything but a yes, then you need to make some adjustments. Maybe you need to change things about yourself, but maybe you need to change your relationship. So it's always up to you to also know what needs to happen, because sometimes it's easier to blame the other person and say, oh, it's his fault or her fault. But we've got to look at within ourselves a little bit too and do some of the inner work.
Number 3, your relationship is full of drama. Somewhat related to number 2, but the drama could be good drama or bad drama. The point is that there's something constantly dramatic happening in the relationship. Again, it doesn't mean that there won't be moments that feel a little dramatic, but if you're constantly over and over and over again having these big drama incidents happening in your relationship, that is a definite sign that you might be in an incompatible relationship.
Well, and let's talk about arguing too, which is part of the drama, the fighting and arguing. And while some people is how they communicate, most of the time it's not ideal, but we're more talking about if you are finding yourself that you are constantly arguing and fighting without going anywhere, without any good resolution, that's when it's not constructive to have this behavior.
Well, and let's just state, you shouldn't actually be arguing or fighting at all, because mature, responsible, well-developed adults don't actually argue or fight in a relationship. They have disagreements and they have discussions, but they don't argue, they don't yell at each other, they don't call each other names, they don't do any of that kind of stuff. So if you are stuck in that pattern of yelling, screaming, name-calling, blaming, that is a sign that you're in an incompatible relationship. It's also a sign that you need to do some personal work.
Okay, sign number 4, you might be thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else and that you're still looking. While you're in a relationship, you go to a party and with your little eye, you spy and you see, I wonder what it would be like to have sex with this person. Oh, and then start to fantasize or think like, oh, it probably would be better. If you are doing this, it means that you are not 100% committed to the relationship and that you have one foot in, one foot out. So now you have to decide, are you going to be all in or all out?
Now I know some guys are thinking, oh come on, just because I looked at a girl and thought what it would be like to have sex with her doesn't mean I'm not all in. And that is true. What we're really talking about here is this sort of subconscious thing that goes on where every new, like let's say you're a man, every new woman you see or meet, you start thinking, I wonder if she would be compatible. I wonder if, it would be good to be in a relationship. It's a little bit more subconscious than you may realize. But when you're really in the right relationship, you don't think those things anymore. You don't have those thoughts. You may go, I bet having sex with her would be fun. But that's about as far as it goes.
Sign number 5, you are constantly trying to change one another. Big red flag that you are not compatible to be in a relationship together. If you are not happy with who you are and who the person is that you are with, and you're constantly wanting to improve them, or because you see their potential, so you just want to help them get there, yeah, that's not the right path.
I think we should have put that one number 1 on the list.
They're not in order of importance.
I know,
that is true, but it is a huge one to be aware of.
It is a big one that we see very frequently. Okay, number 6 on the list, you are not willing to do the work. So it does take work. Even in a great relationship, it takes work in a sense that a relationship is in itself an entity, like a living, breathing entity. And as someone said, it needs to be nurtured. You gotta water it. You gotta give it some fertilizer, some food. Like, stuff has to happen. And if you're struggling, it's gonna require more work. Maybe you need to seek counseling. Maybe you need to take some training on how to improve your communication. Maybe you need to work with some coaches on how to really have an amazing relationship or how to improve your sex life. Those things are going to take time, they're going to take effort, they might even take a little bit of money. The question is, how dedicated are you? And if you're not willing to do those things, then this is likely not the best or the right relationship for you. Because when you're really in the right relationship, you don't think about, I don't know, it's a bit too much money, or that's going to take too long, or that's going to be hard. You don't think about those things. When you know you're in the right relationship, you just say, okay, what is it going to take? How can I make it happen?
In our sign number 7, your friends have been telling you since the beginning that you're not a good match. But you didn't want to listen. But if you're honest, if you look at things like, have your friends been cheering and saying, oh, you guys are so compatible, we knew you should be together? Or have they been saying, oh, that's a good guy for now, or the girl for now, but they're not like cheering you on so much? Or have they even come out straight and said, this is not the person for you?
Okay, so now we're not suggesting that you should always rely on what your friends tell you. However, it is often easier for somebody on the outside who's not experiencing all the hormones of a new relationship. It's often easier for them to objectively look at your relationship and see things that you may not be able to see. And your friends and your family members will be doing that, and they will be giving you little subtle clues and signs if you're willing to pay attention. Sometimes it's not even what they say, it's what they don't say. When they're not saying things like, wow, you guys are so amazing together. Wow, your relationship looks so good. If they're just zipping it and keeping it shut and just like, that's probably a sign that they see stuff going on that shouldn't be going on and they're afraid to tell you.
So pay attention. So there you have it, my dear. These are 7 signs that can show you that you are not compatible with the person that you're with. So then it's up to you to either do the work, change yourself, or change the relationship. But ultimately, something has to be different, and you need to do that. So we hope today's video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video.